Hello everyone and welcome back to AmourologyEd, where we do sex and alternative lifestyle education. My name is Krista, I'm your host. If you're new to this, then welcome. So we do sex and alternative lifestyle education, obviously, and I kind of explore it from my perspective, which is queer, it's demi-pansexual, it's non-monogamous, it is someone who has a disability. So that's kind of where I come from in all of this. I do have some exciting news. Come August, I will be attending grad school, finally. So I will be attending school. I will be getting a master's in education in human sexuality, so kind of right up my alley, and I'm really excited about this, and I'm excited to gain some new tools to share with all of you. If at any time you want coaching sessions or private sessions or anything like that, please reach out to me. My email is in the show notes down below. Great, we got that out of the way. Now, this week, we're going to continue on our masturbation trajectory since everybody is stuck at home right now. Last week, we went kind of over some basics. If you haven't watched that, I do recommend it, even if you're a seasoned practicer, because, hey, you may learn something new. Today, we're going to be talking specifically, wow, that's a hard word, specifically about vulva pleasure and even more specifically about clitoral stimulation. So this is going to be most useful for people who have clitorises, but some of this information can be used for partner sex or anything like that. So if you have a partner who has a clitoris, this may be good for you to watch as well. Yeah, we like to please our partners as well as ourselves. Anyway, enjoy. Ooh, I did also forget to mention that I have quite a few events every so often. I'm not doing in-person events right now, obviously, because of COVID, but I am doing a lot of online events. I have one coming up this Thursday, which, gosh, I can't even, what day is it today? Thursday the 9th, it's going to be at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. It's a mindfulness and meditation for polyamory, so if that's something that interests you, great. You can find information about that on my website. I also have an online panel discussion coming up centered around sex and intimacy, including intimacy without sex. It's online, so you can join in from anywhere in the world and get some really, really valuable knowledge we have 4 amazing experts in this field who all kind of come from a different background. So I'm really excited about this. That information can also be found on my website. That's going to be on the 19th at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So all sorts of fun stuff coming up. Keep on it. Okay, now I'll shut up and get to the nitty-gritty of what you actually want to know about, which is the clitoris. Yay, I'm so excited. So, let's start with some facts and figures. OMGYes, which is a website that has done research on thousands of vulva owners, and they have found that 37% of women or vulva owners responded that they needed clitoral stimulation to orgasm. Another 36% responded that while they didn't require clitoral stimulation to orgasm, it did enhance the experience. Now, only 18% of their studied vulva owners said that they can come from vaginal stimulation alone. 18%. So that to me is so low. We've done study after study showing that clitoral stimulation is so vital to awesome orgasms for people who own clitorises. So we're going to focus on that a little bit and talk about ways that you can stimulate the vulva in maybe ways that you haven't thought about. We're going to talk about the anatomy of the vulva. We're going to talk about external pleasure kind of surrounding the vulva, because there's some really good spots, not just on the clitoris itself. So I'm really excited about all of this. As always, feel free to combine any of these techniques that we're going to go over in the next couple weeks. Next time, we're going to talk about penis stimulation, then we're going to move into vaginal stimulation, then we're going to move into anal stimulation. I'm really excited about it. And again, as always, this isn't just for masturbation. While we're going to be focusing on that in this series, any of these techniques can be taken to the bedroom for a partner as well. So let's start with the basic. Let's find your clitoris. This is a cute little example of a vulva here. It has a chart. You can maybe zoom in to see a little bit more. It's going to be backwards for you though, sorry. But the basic anatomy is all there. That's all you need to know, what it looks like. And again, all vulvas potentially look slightly different. So if yours doesn't look like this exactly, no big deal. You're normal probably. So the clitoris is this cute little rosebud-like bump right at the apex of the labia. So it sits right inside the labia minora at the very top, the labia minora being kind of the inside labia here. It's packed with 8,000 nerve endings, so that's a shit ton, and it feels real good when you stimulate it, or it can feel really intense if you don't do it the proper way for your body. The clitoris that we just talked about, however, is kind of just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to clitoral anatomy. So what we just discussed was this little bitty bit right at the top, right there. Just a tiny little bit that's right there. It's kind of crazy. So right here you have your vaginal opening. Right here you have your urethral opening. You can see that this is kind of zoomed in a little bit then. The average length of this clitoris is going to be about 4 inches, so similar to a non-erect penis. Most of this is internal, of course. This is the only part that you can see. This is the part that we pointed out. But fun fact, when you are stimulating inside the vaginal opening into the G-spot, that's actually stimulating another part of the clitoris. So, most of your orgasms are gonna come from this little dude right here. How cute is that? So, because the clitoris extends so far and so wide, more so than we just think of the clitoris, we're gonna really focus on not just clitoral stimulation during this, but kind of around the clitoral area as well to really get maximum pleasure that we can out of this. So we have our clitoris at the top, of course. There's another spot here called the U spot that a lot of people don't know about. So we have your urethral opening, which you should be able to feel with your hand. It's a little tiny opening just above the vaginal opening there. The U spot is right in between that area. It's kind of that soft, fleshy skin there. A lot of people report that that's highly sensitive as well. So that's something that's worth kind of playing around with and experimenting with in yourself to see if that does anything for you. The moral of the story here is to not just go straight for the clitoris when you're starting your self-love sessions. You can maybe start kind of massaging above the clitoris here on the pubic bone. The general rule of thumb is that you want to use 2 fingers. My fingers are black because of the marker, but you want to use 2 fingers to kind of maximize pleasure that you're getting out of this. So kind of massaging up there. You can massage over the clitoral hood if you want to. That's the kind of skin that kind of goes over and covers the clitoris itself. You can massage that U spot. You can massage kind of the labia. Some people like this V technique where you're using your pointer finger and middle finger to kind of create this V with the clitoris at the apex of the top there. So you're stimulating not only kind of the clitoral hood and the clitoris, but also these labia as well at the same time. There's lots of different techniques. Krista, what are some of those techniques? Glad you asked. Let's talk about some external around the clitoris techniques that you can use. So we have the inverted Vulcan. I am very bad at doing this, but I'm going to try my best. Think about the Vulcan kind of sign in hand, and similar to the V technique, use that as a rubbing technique. There's safety scissors, which kind of take that technique to another level. You could do it with the V technique or the Vulcan technique and kind of pinch everything, including the outer labia together, and kind of use that. Maybe apply some kind of vibrating, pulsating motions. That's real great. There's the pussy pinch, which kind of is what it sounds like. So just take all of that labia, all of the outside, and just pinch it all together. You can even run up and down the area there to create what we call the canyon rim. All of this is kind of getting that area ready for more stimulation. Most vulva owners report that they like one or a combination of these 4 different types of motions. And those 4 motions are up and down on the clitoris, circular, side to side, and kind of a rapid pulsing or pulsating kind of vibration type thing. That being said, 8 out of 10 vulva owners report that they like some sort of continuous circular motion around the clitoris during arousal. Now, it turns out that what people mean by circular motion varies to a wide extent. So, we're going to spend the next little while talking about different circular techniques that you can try at home, on yourself, or with a partner to help stimulate, your clitoris. Things like circles and ovals and figure eights work for a wide variety of vulva owners because it stimulates a wide area. Remember, the clitoris isn't just that one spot. You can get different areas of the clitoris stimulated by doing kind of a wide area. But most people have one or a series of hot spots that are really nerve clusters that are highly intense right at that moment. And stimulating those by getting kind of a wide area during this can be really, really useful and really good pleasure for a lot of people. Not only stimulating those hot spots gets a lot of vulva owners off, but stimulating those spots repeatedly in a pattern over and over is what really does it, which is why these circular motions are so good for a lot of people. So there are 2 aspects of these circular motions that make a difference for people. We're going to kind of I'm going to tell you them now, and then we're going to go into more depth in them. So one is the location of where you touch and how the hood of the skin is involved. And 2 is the amount of pressure. Yes, pressure makes a huge bit of difference, and I know this could be so minute of a change for a lot of people. We're talking millimeters of different pressure, but it makes such a big difference. That could be the difference between intense pleasure sensations and someone actually feeling really uncomfortable. So we have tight orbits, really small circles right and around that area. We have tall ovals, kind of encompassing this whole area and all the fleshy parts in it too. We have the searching circles. This may be changing a little bit, kind of orbiting outward to see where your hot spot is at that moment. We have off-center circles. So 1 out of 4 vulva owners report that they get a higher sensation from one side of the clitoris than another. We have the occasional direct swipe. So this is gently circling kind of the hood of the clitoris and around the labia area, and then just occasionally doing that direct swipe on the clitoris itself. We have widening circles. We've talked about kind of extending them vertically, but what about extending them horizontally too? Again, each side of the clitoris also has a lot of nerve endings and can get some really good stimulation going. We have the soft, hard figure eight. So this is going to be kind of applying more pressure as you get down to this vaginal area and the labia, and then going a little bit softer as you get over the clitoris itself. Accenting the clock, kind of a similar concept. As you go around in these circles, apply more pressure at occasional points as you go around. Inward on the border. So this is going around the clitoris, but always applying pressure towards the clitoris as you do this kind of in a clockwork motion. Just a regular figure eight. So this is a continuous sign that just crosses the middle. There are, of course, other ways to stimulate the clit that aren't circular. So we're just going to go through a few techniques of that. So, of course, we have just the stroking kind of up and down. We have the toggle, which kind of take the flat of your fingers and kind of move the clitoris side to side. And then, of course, we have kind of a flicking motion, which is where you kind of pinch it a little bit and flick it a little bit. This all may do something really great for you. This may be too intense for you. This may be painful for you. All of that is normal. Find what works for you. While many vulva owners report that consistency while approaching orgasm is the best way to reach that climax, a lot of people also say that variation during the buildup can increase pleasure for them. So, one way to extend that pleasure is to kind of skip over certain parts of a repeated motion. So, you can do this by literally lifting your finger or lifting your toy or your tongue or whatever you're using in this moment. Lifting it off that area as you're doing your kind of circular pattern motion or whatever motion you're doing at this time. But mix it up. Okay, let's talk about pressure for a moment. So, just a quick reminder on this that lube is so powerful and great and important and can make dealing and experimenting with pressure vital. So I know it's sometimes hard to think about using lube when, especially if you're just focusing on external stimulation, but I promise you, you might find something new. One pressure technique is called gliding. So this is, as you're doing your circular motions or you're rubbing or whatever, you're just gliding over the wet hood skin with so little pressure that the skin isn't even moving. So basically think about, like, if you have lube on your fingers and you're touching that area, you're just touching the wet on it. Like, you're not even touching the skin, just the wet. Just gliding over it. One step more intense than that is moving over the skin or moving the skin. So you're actually touching the skin firm enough that you actually move the skin, but you're not pressing down on it. You can go up in intensity from there and do a firm massage. So you can keep your circular motion or whatever you're doing and actually really press in there to get to that hardened clitoris underneath that skin. Warning on this one that some people report that this is too intense for them. If that's the case, great. Back off a little bit. You learned something about yourself and the world didn't explode. If you use that technique though, and it's not too intense for you, sometimes it works better for that to be just an occasional technique that you kind of go back and forth between all of them and just occasionally really get in there. Yes. Using a vibrator is a great way to stimulate your clitoris without having to overwork your fingers. Man, mine get tired, I'm telling you. So, just make sure that you are cleaning your sex toys properly, taking proper hygiene care, experiment with some different sex toys. I'm not going to go into that now because I'll do a whole nother episode on sex toys, or a series of episodes probably. God, there's so many out there. But just know, that's a great way to help you out. When you're doing clitoral stimulation, try lying on your back. I know that seems kind of, old-fashioned, I guess, but I promise you that sometimes lying on your back, puts the clitoris in a position that you can stimulate it a lot easier with the way that your body is. In fact, I'm not going to demonstrate this, but when you lie on your back, put a pillow underneath your head to prop it up, do what you want to do, but spread your legs and then bend them at the knee and kind of put your feet together like you're doing a butterfly stretch a little bit. And that will kind of open everything up and create, a lot of people report, maximum pleasure. And although it may seem a little bit juvenile, try some pillow humping or some stuffed animal humping. Get your favorite friend involved. A lot of people report that if they do that, they can kind of increase or decrease the pleasure as they want, and sometimes that feels really good. Pro tip right here, bringing your legs together just as you're approaching orgasm will actually make masturbation and sex, for that matter, more pleasurable for clitoris owners. It actually gives you a sudden boost of sensation because remember, a lot of that clitoris is internal too, so you're squeezing all of that together, which can, for a lot of people, push them over the edge. If you have a really sensitive clitoris or really sensitive vulva, which a lot of people do, try experimenting with some of these techniques over your underwear, over tights, or over whatever you feel comfortable masturbating in. It can help kind of sensitize you to that sensation and get you used to it, and then you can kind of slowly move further if you wanted to, but you don't have to. You could just stay there if that's what's enjoyable to you. And last but not least, keep Experimenting. Our bodies change over time. Our bodies change from second to second based on where you are in your arousal, based on your environment, based on things that are happening in your head that day. Keep experimenting. If something doesn't feel right to you, it's probably not right for you in this moment. Try something new. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope this was helpful for some people. I hope you learned something new. I hope you came away with something that you're going to go home and try, or you're probably already home. Maybe you're masturbating to this. I don't know. You do you. Anyway, if there's something that I didn't mention that you think is a good technique that you use or you've known other people to use, maybe throw it in the comments. Let's create a library of this. Who cares? I think that's great. As always, you can find me at AmourologyEd.net. You can find me on all social media at AmourologyEd. You can join my Facebook group. We have wonderful discussions we have Masturbation Mondays, so we discuss masturbation all the time. So if you want more information or you have more information to give, maybe consider joining that group and being a part of some of those discussions. What else? You can join my Patreon at AmourologyEd. You can like and subscribe. You can tell a friend. Word of mouth has amazing power to reach a lot of different people, some of which who may really need this information. So tell a friend or several. You do you. Let's see here. I have a bunch of events coming up. You can find all of that information on my website or my Facebook group if you would like. Beyond that, keep being you and enjoy your self-pleasure sessions.